I've had so many requests from people who have heard Almine Barton that I feel that we are most fortunate to have been able to have her attend our conference today. I'm as interested as you are in hearing her, and I know you'll be interested in hearing more after you hear the next presentation. And I wish you would give now our warmest Denver, Colorado Global Sciences welcome to Almine Barton, please.
The neon lights are causing muscle weakness in them. So if it is okay with everybody, if we could lower some of the lights.
Can we lower some of the lights? Now, which lights is it? She says the lights...
The neon ones are causing muscle weakness in them.
Are causing muscle weakness. Are you talking about these overheads?
The neons. Is that better?
All right. Does that help?
Are the chandeliers okay?
The chandeliers are okay, yes, thank you. What I would like to do is just take one moment of silence. I am never allowed by my highest wisdom to prepare a lecture. And sometimes I stand for 16 hours lecturing. And as a result, what is in your heart is going to dictate that which I say to you. So I need to take just a few minutes to hear exactly what it is that you wish to know. You have been given every reason in the entire universe to be afraid. And then you are told not to fear. You are told to be in a state of love. You see, the fear lodges right underneath your belly button. This is where you hold your fear, in what is called the second chakra. When there is fear in this area, it closes the heart chakra and you are unable to love. That is why fear is the opposite of love. So you wish to know one good reason why you shouldn't be afraid. One good reason how not to be afraid. This is then what we will address. Reality seems unalterably fixed to our perception. Everything seems unalterable. This is the way it is. But in actual fact, reality seeming fixed is due to peculiarities in our perception. And when our perception changes, so does reality. So therefore, even the search for truth is a futile search, because you are grand and mighty beings that can create truth spontaneously. You can bring in a new way of being. Those that have manipulated your minds for about 150,000 years have known much more about your minds than you do. And we will take a look at what is done to give you that feeling of being impotent. Because you see, if you knew who you are, without any doubt, you would know that you are perfectly safe. In fact, it cannot be any other way. That you are perfect, that you are innocent, that you are free of the guilt that has been laid at your doorstep all of your life. So therefore, it has been in the interest of those who wish to control you that you not know the great and mighty beings that you are. I will tell you that I lived in Oregon in my home, and I had healers and various people from all over the world come to me there in this very, very sacred space, which I regard as my temple. For indeed, all around you is your temple. And as we're sitting here now, And in the stillness of your hearts, you are in fact recreating the geometry of this room. There is a sacred geometry of energy that was created here before. As you are sitting here in hope and in stillness, you are recreating it into perfection. You create your environment. You are the center of the universe. Wherever you are, that is the center of your universe. In February, I was told that I needed to go out and speak that which I have experienced. And I said, why? Can't I just continue here in this holy space, in these wonderful, wonderful experiences? My son and I live in what is called miracles. We just put on a Canadian journey for a group of people up in the Canadian Rockies on the sacred ground of the Stoney Indians. And the miracles were so commonplace that people started getting used to it. And then, you know, because they live inside me, and when they left, I could feel this shock of entering the old paradigm. You can change that. In February, when I said, oh, why do I have to go out in the traffic and airplanes and leave the sacred space? I was told that because in some small way, for it is growing, I have managed to live a life more abundant. I can tell you, I stepped here, I stepped there. This is how I have come to the point where I am simply not controllable. And I am never a victim, and neither are you. One of the few differences, I might know it and you may not, but there is no difference between us. And in my workshops, I was given a meditation, I was given some tools to make this a little easier on me, for indeed I am again a student. You see, people say, well, what, are you a master? Are you this? Are you that? If you are a master, what it means is that you've mastered one rung of the ladder. For any one path will only take you up one rung of the ladder. And that is the moment it signals the universe that you are ready to go to the next rung, in which you are again a student. Walking among the masses and retaining my sacred space as I look at the pain that you suffer, for I am very empathetic, I feel what you feel. In fact, I must tell you that as I speak to you, I hear what you think, for I am wide open that I may be corrected if for one instant I say something that is not the highest truth that I am capable of giving you. So looking at your pain day in and day out, and walking in traffic, and you see in a city there are all these short waves going through the air that disrupts spirituality. I am again a student. But one of the tools I was given is a meditation, so that you can no longer just be told intellectually, you are all one, but you can experience that you are all one. You can see why you are all one. Because you are a consciousness superimposed over all of creation. That is who you are. Your heart is the most powerful instrument. We have learned of wonderful technologies here, and I applaud them. Because I live the life of inner technology, I applaud yet the outer technologies, making this world a better place. But the most advanced technology in the universe is your heart. For you are the door of everything. There's a little book on the back of my table that sort of summarizes what I am speaking about. And so I asked the people that work with me to please stock it. It's called The Door of Everything. You are the door of everything. You are like a consciousness superimposed over all of reality. But if you are, so is your brother. So are these people with these heinous acts superimposed over all. Which is why A master once said, "In God you dwell and have your being, and in you God dwells and has his being." Because all of creation is encompassed. What is without you is within you in the inner universe. And it is time for you to explore the hidden realms of reality, for it is there where you can make the greatest impact on the universe, let alone the world. You know, we have heard stories here about government officials using witchcraft. Well, what is witchcraft? Witchcraft is aligning with certain universal energies for gain. And you know, that is also part of who you are, isn't it? If you are everything. If you condemn any piece of this, you are condemning a piece of yourself. But I will tell you that unless you are free of an agenda, unless you are free of rational expectations, by having shed your past, which can no longer dictate the future, because the past told you that reality was like this, it can no longer dictate what reality is going to be. Unless you are free of rational expectations and rational fears, and unless you are in a place where there is no personal agenda, and you are a master of your thoughts and your feelings, limitless power is not entrusted to you. And I don't care, because you see, I take them on every day. I don't care how many witches you're up against. You know, I will not tell you that my son and I haven't suffered some casualties, but love is always stronger. So let's look at love. Each and every one of you, including every planetary body, because in fact, every planetary body, every sun is alive. It is in fact, in frequency, just one octave apart. Your life form as a carbon-based life form is according to the star tetrahedron, which is like a three-dimensional Star of David. That's how your original 8 cells form, which is still at the base of your spine. The only cells that never replace themselves. Your entire mission statement is in those 8 cells at the base of your spine. The silica life form, which is our mother, the earth. Also, the silica and oxygen combines also in the star tetrahedral shape. You see this message often in the crop circles. And I'll tell you a bit about what is happening with the toilet water running the wrong way. Okay, I'll tell you what's happening to the earth. The crop circles are trying to tell us life as you know it is changing. But let's for the moment look at love. Love is the currency of the universe. You know, people tell you light is all there is, love is all there is. Which one is it, light or love? Well, there are two sides of one coin, and love is the carrier wave of light. And love is magnetic and feminine in nature. It is emotional, and light is electric and is information, masculine in nature. And this fills all of space. Fear is the love vibration distorted. You see, the reason you think you can't do these things, the reason you think you cannot master your thoughts or you cannot master your heart, is because the fear is causing a filter through which you view life. It's a lens, actually. And guess what it does? You know, on the back of your retina, if I'm looking at this beautiful, beautiful light being over here, if I look at her, on the back of the retina, she's turned upside down. And my brain has to turn her right way up again. You're looking at life upside down. That is what my workshops attempt to do. Here in Denver, next weekend we have a 2-day workshop, and the schedule I might be in, your location is on the back of the table. I just want you to know that if you cannot afford to come to a workshop, you are still welcome. And you need to talk to Lynn, who will be at the back table after the break when the tables open. Everyone is welcome where I am. Everyone, folks. Love is the currency of the universe. You are the wealthy ones. You know why? The star tetrahedral fields that you have around your body, which is called Merkaba, light body, like the three-dimensional Star of David, you have three superimposed one over each other. So does the planet, so does the sun, so does Jupiter. And you know the lateral lines on the Star of David? That latitude is where you find all your earthquakes, you find your sunspots, you find the red storm of Jupiter. It is because of these energetic fields that that is where it occurs. Now you have three. And you have wondered, after you have sat here and listened to the atrocities committed on little children, the heinous, it can't fit in your head. And there's anger in your hearts and outrage. That's okay. To go through the steps of grieving and you're losing your innocence. Anger is one of them. Disbelief is the first stage. Anger is one of these stages. But you see, they only have two. They have a left spinning one, which is electrical, masculine, and they have a stationary one, which is for the physical body. They lack what you have, which is a right spinning Merkaba field around your body, which is female, magnetic, emotional. They have no capability of feeling. I'll tell you how that happened in a moment, but for a moment, so that you can start to feel compassion for this part of who you are. Because remember, you are all things. If you know this with a certainty that there's only one expressing as the many, you cannot fear, and then you cannot be controlled. Think for a moment what it must be like not to feel the joy of a reuniting with a loved one, not to feel the bliss of a beautiful sunset, of a moment of peace, or the birds starting to wake up in the morning, of not appreciating music or poetry, or feeling an exchange when you hug somebody. I was sitting next to a brother back there, and the love that I could feel coming from him, just even no words were spoken. Can you imagine the impoverished state of not being able to feel? These humans are not able to feel. And they want a piece of you, because you are the most powerful beings in the universe. Because remember what that Dr. Gillian said? She said, the wealthy ones are the powerful ones. That's you. The currency of the universe is emotion. You know why? Let's see how you create. Because you know, I know that certain things, such as, let's look at the little tragic case of this little girl, Jo Benet. She did not create her reality. But I will tell you that she chose to enter there. Without a doubt, she chose those circumstances in her life because she wanted to mirror to the world, because of the publicity, ourself. This is the sort of thing that is going on in your society. It is the collective consciousness that has allowed this to happen. How much are we focusing on this? Do you know that you empower what you focus on? Do you know that you strengthen that which you oppose? I want to repeat that. You strengthen that which you oppose. It is one of the hidden laws of the universe. And you empower that which you focus on. Yes, truth shall set you free, and it is good that you know these things. Now, all this focus that this nation is giving to the situation of Jo Benet, what do you think it is empowering? Similar situations. So, our collective consciousness could create something that occurs to a little child like that. But for the majority of it, you are creating exactly what is in your life. Your life is a mirror of who you are. You don't like it, you change who you are. It's that potent. You know, I know that many of you have been persecuted and the government has harassed you and black helicopters over your heart. I know. I was in Denver here teaching the first workshop, which was the first level of information, which we also have on the back table. There's not many of them, but there are some left, a few months ago. And there were so many people that wanted healings from me that I just did a group healing, and I had people come up one by one, and I turned the lights off and just a little light and put my hands on their head to quicken them, to assist them, just a little jump start, because you are the powerful beings, it's not me. I am powerful, yes, but I am not doing it to you. You are opening yourself up to the healing. And as I did this, this energy came through the room like a steamroller. It was in one of the red lions here, like a steamroller, right through the room. And these two beings were assigned to me, and I did not shake those turkeys till it was on the solstice in Canada that I shook them for the first time. And how did I shake them? I went into the other realms, because this is what I do, and this is, you see, these hidden realms is where the power is. They know it. You should. And it's all within you. I went within the realm and I called upon the Archangel Michael, who was a protector, and I said, I wish to be rid of them. You know, 3 is a crowd. They are taking away my freedom of choice. I don't want to have to carry their burden around. I was given a thread of light. Now I'm speaking to you in mystical terms. Some of you will not relate to this. That's okay. Just let it roll off you. Because if you oppose anything that happens in your path, it puts you out of the now. When you're out of the now, you're not in your power. Fear of tomorrow puts you out of the now. And if tomorrow is created by today, and you're living in tomorrow in fear, where's tomorrow going to come from? So just bear with me. I'm speaking mystical things. You will get more of it if you come to my workshops. So if you're not able to, you know, if it doesn't feel right to you right now, be aware of that. I was given a thread of light. And I was told to wind the thread of light round their neck and pull. And it would destroy them. I said, destroy, you know, this is not who I am. I heal. This is war. So, you know, this is not war. The only thing that I will wage war on, unless directly instructed as part of what I am supposed to do here, is that within me that will take my power away. Any part of me that disempowers me and still views the life through a filter of limitation, that is the part I will stalk mercilessly. I will wage war on in the most ferocious sense. But I am sorry. I will love them. And with great love and compassion, I saw where they came from. You think American government is being manipulated by the secret government? They're being manipulated by the Greys, who's manipulated by the reptiles. It goes on and on, guys. It goes all the way up. But it doesn't matter. So do you. If you knew your true nature, you would know that you are not an atom. You are the whole. God, I am. Within me, God dwells and has his being. Why should you get sick if there is a plague? Tell me why you want to get sick. Do you want to? It's your choice. Your illnesses is the exquisite language of your spirit. And it goes like this. You want me to teach you the language so you can get rid of those aches and pains? Let me tell you how it works. The language of the soul is your feelings. Never, never squelch your feelings. But I will tell you something. Be aware. Certain thoughts masquerade as feelings. That's why in my workshops, I have a beginner's workshop that I give that deals with the path to empowerment. And it's in the form of a medicine wheel. And we spend one morning in the south, one morning in the west. We spend time, and I teach them their own soul retrieval methods. I mean, those people that have suffered so greatly, pieces of them die. You don't die all at once. When you die, a piece leaves, yes, and it creates a weight loss of 11 to 13 ounces. But that 2 ounce difference left before. So pieces of you leave. And you want those pieces back. The spontaneity, the childlikeness, the trust in the magic of life. Fear stills the magic of life. Fear stills the voice of the wind and the song of the river. All of the universe is in joy, except man, who has disconnected from source, which is not without, but within. You have been taught that it is without, deliberately, because they know how your mind works. I'm going to show you why. So, we get free of the past. We shed the past. In places like Abiquiu, where we have a ranch that we hold our workshops, our weekend workshops on, we even take a ceremony and face the south. You see, the directions that the Native Americans work with, they too are alive. They're archetypal spirits. There are, Shakespeare had his character say to Horatio, my son is always the one that knows Shakespeare and knows the Bible, so every time I quote something, he knows better. Terribly infuriating. And he said, there are more things on earth and in the heavens than you know of, Horatio. Everything is alive. And if you know this, you can align yourself with the energy and create. Or you can alienate yourself from this universe that is filled with energy and destroy. You don't need to eat. Do you know that? What you do is you draw upon the energy and you draw upon from the life force that is in everything. Your body has trillions of trillions of volts of electricity. That's how powerful you are. It's all around you. You don't have to eat. You can get to a point, and I'm not negating any of the wonderful technologies here, you can get to a point, I don't care what I eat. Sometimes I eat, sometimes I don't. I live off of chocolate here and there. I don't care what I eat. Yes, I care if I take a substance in that seriously alters my life force energy or opens up my aura, because you know what? I walk where angels fear to tread, which is on the planet Earth. You need your protection. And, alcohol, nicotine, those sorts of things are not part of who I am. But the point is, my inner technology will keep me healthy. It is not what goes into a man, but what comes out of a man that will determine the rate at which your cells vibrate. And if your cells start to vibrate close to the speed of light, time ceases to be. Einstein accessed this truth. Time ceases to be. When I passed 43, 44, 45, I noticed changes occur in my body. It is what goes out of a man. Every time you send a fear thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have a plague. Every time you do that, you are breaking down your cells, and you are weakening your muscles, and you are subject to gravitational laws. What is death? Death is a purification rite. It also is an accident that has always happened. It's part of the mass hypnosis of this planet. Christ continually said, judge not by appearances. Remember what I said about reality being alterable? One person can clean up an ocean. One person. The fight to fight this time is not outside yourself. By all means, do what you have to do in your mission. mean, I honor these people in their great courage to come forward and say these things that they have. That is courage. That's the stuff a warrior's made of. Now, if you turn that inward and with courage tackle everything that would prevent you from expressing the God being that you are, then you are fighting a fight worth it. That's worth fighting. Remember, you strengthen that which you oppose. So even in fighting things in yourself, there is a way to do it, and we will discuss that in the workshop. And if I forget, for anybody that's there, please remind me. But you don't oppose even that which is within yourself, or you will strengthen it. Now, how do you create your reality? Well, thought plus emotion creates activity. There is a delicate substance that fills all of space, even what to us is dark. No, it isn't actually dark, it's just that we use only 1/10 of the brain, and we see only 1/10 of creation. You want to see more? That's no problem. You start to access these inner realms. And I will tell you how, okay? You know, I promise you one thing. I will never tell you, have unconditional love. Don't fear, without having the capability of telling you how. That's been done long enough. It's like saying to somebody, be of Oriental flower arrangement or something. Okay, why do you do that? So, a thought drops into the subconscious, which our psychologists don't know this, but it is in the heart. And when you are into ascension, you go through 2 stages of ascension. You actually go through 3 gates. When you are going through these gates of ascension, which is what we will be discussing tomorrow, what happens when you ascend? How do you ascend? Why should you ascend? Okay? The heart is the subconscious. It's like a reservoir. It's where all the thoughts that you have thought, everything that has been projected at you, falls into this reservoir. And that is what is determining your future, because you're reacting based on the past. A fool reacts. A master creates spontaneously. So a thought falls into the reservoir of the heart, and that acts upon the substance of things hoped for. The substance of things hoped for is as real an element. In fact, as I'm speaking, I see it represented by the symbol of a circle. Apparently, the Platonic solids represent the different elements, and the circle is this substance. Each and every one of you is working with that substance with every thought that you think. Do you know that a thought goes around the planet 22 times a second? Who you are ripples through the consciousness of mankind. It is your sacred obligation to be whole, to be healthy. And I will tell you the language of pain, I promise. It is your sacred obligation, because any discordant ripple and all that is not in perfection ripples throughout the consciousness of all mankind. Now, I wish to tell you that this is the way you create. If you create through fear, you attract that which you fear. You know that. But how do you stop fearing? How do you not be an ostrich in the sand? Like the one brother was mentioning. Well, the ostrich, yeah, you're right. You need to know. But you raise your eyes above the storm and you turn that view right way up, and we will deal more with that in our workshop. Now, I would just like to tell you that what I have been doing with my voice, because you see, you are, each of you, a point of great power. That power passes through your touch, it passes through your voice, and it passes through your eyes. And I have, with my voice, repaired the sacred geometry around your bodies. You have assisted me to repair the sacred geometry in this room. It can be shattered by the blow of a whistle. Doesn't anybody have a crystal bowl that we can give him to play that opens the heart chakra instead? Okay, thank you. You've done exactly what I wanted you to do. You see, you've woken everybody up. And when I do this, it puts people to sleep. Thank you very much. Okay. The language of the soul is the feelings. That is your truth. When you are clear of those fear things that are jerking your strings from the past. And I will tell you, folks, that you are being controlled to fear, deliberately caused to fear, as long as you can pick up a television station. And even when it's off, when your television's off, it is still emitting it. The only thing you can do is get rid of all capability of receiving television, all antennas or satellite dishes, and use it to watch wonderful videos that uplift. Okay, because that is controlling you. Didn't you see the Iraqi soldiers throw down their guns in abject fear and fall on? Nobody even shot at them, for heaven's sakes. They were broadcasting fear. Does that sound like a prophecy in one of the scriptures? Do you know where in the Bible that is, Brent? It speaks about the time that they will broadcast pestilence and fear. These are the times. But you are the mighty beings prophesied about in the Essene records, in the Mayan records, in the Egyptian records. Ancient records spoke about you, the elect that have come into the bodies of man to walk between the worlds. Greg Braden, and there's a little newspaper floating around somewhere that has his book being advertised, is very wonderful in bringing that information forward. You are they who walk between the worlds, because at present something new has occurred. You know, there is a grid for every species around the planet. And when you look from the top with extended vision, it makes a bluish haze. And that bluish haze around the planets are these grids. And a grid is a geometric array of lines of information. Each species has its own. The top one is not us. It is the whale. We associate advanced cultures with external technology. That's what Lucifer did. Yeah, I said the L word. I'm going to tell you guys what happened, because this will explain to you why these people don't have a right-spinning Merkaba. So he created external technology. High civilizations don't need that. The whales, you know that through the song of the whales, all species procreate? Without the whale song, you know how it moves 22 times a second around the earth, like we just said? It allows all species to procreate, to have offspring. The next one is the dolphins. Now, the Dogon tribe in Africa knew all about the Sirius star system. They knew about the second blue dwarf star in there and everything before we could even see it with our telescopes. They said the orbit days and everything. So the scientists asked them, well, how do you know this? They said, well, we were taught by people, the beings that came from there. Oh, I see, okay. Well, they took all these notes, but they thought they were cold turkey about the second blue dwarf star in the Sirius star system, until recently, when they discovered it. So they went back to these little old elders sitting there with their walking sticks in some field in Africa and said, now listen, you've got to tell us, fess up. Now, how do you know this? And they took them into a cave and showed them dolphins exiting a spacecraft, ancient drawings. All the star drawings of Sirius were there. And they said, these beings told us when they landed here in a spacecraft in the big lake or the big water, and they exited, they taught us telepathically, mind to mind. Ah, well, now we know they're full of it, so they left. Dolphins were not always free of technology. They have advanced to being multi-level beings that no longer require technology. They are the second highest species on this planet if we were to judge by the grids. Then comes man. There are 3 grids at present for man, which is brand new. There used to only be 2. The top one is the Christ grid that has been put in place just recently. It was begun 2,000 years ago by the life, see what one person can do? By the purity of someone's life. 2,000 years later, with the harmonic convergence, enough people came forward to say, we want to be free, we want to step forward into a place of all love. Enough people expressed it that it created the completion of the grid. And that made people on this planet a whole less controllable. In 1990, I think it was, I gave a prophecy that there would be, there will no longer be, because my son and I went over there and worked on the waters, but the probability existed that a water source in France would be poisoned by Islamic forces and tens of thousands of people would die before they would realize that it's the water supply. And it would be due to a book that would be published in France that had anti-Islamic teachings in it. I wondered why that would happen. Well, now I know. France shut off these missiles, right, out there in the ocean. I am so connected with the earth, and when that happened, it was as if somebody had shot me right in the stomach. The pain she felt, I felt empathetically with her. And together, I held her hand, and we mutated it to light. What were they doing? They were trying to blow to bits that Christ grid. It failed. You are walking between the Christ grid and the old paradigm. Haven't you noticed that you're like a spiritual manic depressive? I'm God, oh my gosh, I'm a bum. It's back and forth, right? Back and forth. You will go through that, thank you, dear. You see, one moment you're living in this place of love, you're asked to continue living there, but you're still physically in this old grid. Everybody around you's in the old grid. Well, she spoke about the estimated numbers of these, it was the ritualistic abuse and the compartments, the splitting and the witchcraft and so on. And she estimated between 2 and 9%. I have news for you. You know what the critical mass is to move this entire planet into the light? Into a place where there is no fear and no oppression? 7%. You can do it. 7%. In 1990, I was told that the whole Earth's going to go, okay? By 92, and then 91, I was told, no, just a little bit. 92, I was told, don't worry. The poles are going to reverse. The Earth will no longer tilt. In 1992, one of the Ascended Masters that has been working with my son left. He had been there for thousands of years on this planet. He said he would not leave until the light outweighed the dark. He left in 1992. Light outweighs the dark. For one being of light is more potent than 100 that fear. As of 1992, this planet no longer needs to tilt on its axis, and yes, I will tell you, there will be some exodus of life. And we're not out of the woods. But the huge catastrophes and earth changes, they're no longer going to take place. And you did it. You're listening to me. 10 years ago, would you have listened to me? You'd have said, that woman's crazy. These things are changing. You have no idea how much you've changed. I want to tell you, there's somebody asking me actually, what What is the safest place to be during the earth changes? Okay, I'll tell you, it's not a problem. The safest place to be during the earth changes is in a Merkabic field that spins 9/10 the speed of light. Now, my son teaches this. He will teach it next weekend at our Denver seminar. I think that today he has 2 women that absolutely must learn it. If you wish to learn it, go to him. You've seen the shamans open their shirts to the feds. You say, go ahead and shoot, and the bullets just flatten. That's a fast spinning, properly rotating Merkabic field. I don't activate my Merkaba fields unless I speak at Global Sciences. Those speakers that are out there, I mean, did you guys feel what I felt when we were sitting down there in the staff meeting? It was, whoa, it was coming from outside. So what? We loved you anyway. You spin your Merkaba field. March, a year ago, there was an attempt to remove Brent and myself from the planet in a rather permanent fashion. It would have killed most people. It was designed to, and it would have. We emerged out of a wreck that they had to scrape up. The axles were broken, the engines were in the street, fire, smoke, everything, okay? A shattered bed of a truck went right through us, stopped short by an inch from our heads. Glass everywhere, in my shoes, in my clothes. We emerged out of there. I looked at each other and smiled. There was not a scratch. I don't care if you're walking amidst bombs. I don't care. When I am threatened, automatic something kicks in that I have really very little control over. I wish to actually have control over it, but this is what I will learn next. But pew, I'm gone. They can't even see me. It was actually rather embarrassing because I used to go to Brent's basketball games, and the aggression of the crowds would make me go, pew, gone, you know, and it's not a very good idea to appear on the bleachers of your son's basketball game. And so I disappear. Anything I can do, you can do 100 times more. Christ said, go ye forth and do the things that I have done, yea, even greater. I used to think, how can anything be yea, even greater than what somebody like that did? Well, yes, I'll tell you, because you are overcoming things that he did not have to overcome. You know, I've had what you've had, okay? Because when I volunteer to come in the body, I volunteer to take everything that could be done to a human body to inflict pain and humiliation. I volunteered. Because in my overcoming, I have raised up every man, woman, and child on this planet. And so will you. My abuse started when I was in my crib. It is as if it hasn't even been. My cells are filled with light. Even the memory of it is removed from my bodies. It happened effortlessly. I assist you when I do the healing to do that. But with me it happened effortlessly as I filled with light in the 3 Ascension attitudes which we will teach in my workshop. You know, Dean was saying, because they moved my workshop to tomorrow morning, he was saying that if enough of you wanted a workshop, and I don't know exactly how we're going to do this, if Dean will please speak to Lynn, who's at my table in the back, but if you will please speak to her, because I know that she has scheduled a lot of healings for me. And so we just need to work around that, but it is possible that if there are enough of you requiring the workshop today, that we will do 2 workshops. So ask Dean, and then Dean will speak to Lynn, and we'll somehow get everything in, okay? I'm not adverse to working in the night, so. Where the head meets the neck is where spirit and intellect meets your life. A lot of you have neck pains. Because you're living the old paradigm and you're believing the new paradigm. That happens. The shoulders and the arms is that area which is done to you or which you are doing. On the right side of the body, it has to do with your own masculine and your male relationships, done to and done from. Your left side of the body has to do with the feminine, the intuitive, and your female relationships. So the arms and shoulders has to do with what is done to you or what you're doing to someone. If it's in your back, it's something you're not looking at. If it's in the front, it's something you know is out of alignment, but nevertheless, you haven't fixed it. Below here, from here to the hips, is the section of your feeling, that which you want, that's what you feel. And from the hips downward is that part of you that is moving through life. Now, the hands and feet have this in common. What's on the extremities, on the outside, the hand, for instance, versus the shoulder, is what's in your immediate present. And what is in the shoulders are perhaps things from the past. Now, bones have to do with parental teachings, genetic heritage. I find that second-generation Holocaust Jews have extraordinary bone problems. That which comes from past genetic parent upbringing, it will manifest as an injury in the bone. For instance, let's take the Holocaust Jew, okay? It will be done to them. It will possibly be on the masculine side, so it's in the past, and it is perhaps not even the second Holocaust Jew that suffered it, but his parents, second generation, it's the parents, so it will be in the bone. So a second Holocaust, it will be in the bone. It will be right here in the bone of the shoulder. So the bones are those things. The muscles, the tendons, if you are manifesting a pain in your muscles and your tendons, your spirit is speaking to you. Bless these pains through the language of the spirit. And your spirit is saying your attitudes are out of alignment with who you are. And who are you? You're the door of everything, but you're more than that. You are a luminous being of perfection, having a human experience. You are not your experiences. Don't get hung up in that. You know, light workers often do this. They get so hung up in what they do because they think it's important work without which the planet cannot be saved. There is no important work. There is only a series of moments to live impeccably. And if you are into your work more than into your center, you upset your balance and you become controllable. So your attitudes are manifest in your soft tissues. Now the blood in your body is your love. If you have a hardening of the arteries, you have a hardening of your attitudes about who you will love and who you won't love. Okay, a clog of cholesterol that blocks the arteries. Fat is numbness. You know, like an insulator. That's why people that have suffered really a lot of child abuse put on weight. A lot of healers put on weight right here, because this is your life force center. And if your heart isn't opening, the healing power should come in here and out here, and you should have a limitless supply. But if your heart is closed, either from fear or from not being fully in your body, then your life force center gets drained. And to protect that, they put a layer of fat on right here. So fat is feelings of numbness. So if you are deliberately not loving your wife, in case she may leave you and hurt you, you're going to get a fat deposit in your arteries. Your heart is your ability to give love. Okay? Some of you have hearts that beat too fast because you want so much to give everywhere on the planet because you see so many injustices, and you're just literally bleeding your life force away. Well, I will tell you that Buddha said that 5 minutes of unconditional divine love affects the grid of the planet more than 1,000 bowls of food. And you can run and do all the work around you that you want. There is power stalking you, and you will never access it until you turn and face it, and it is within. The fluids are emotions, such as continual sinus infection, fluid in the lungs. It is negative emotions, resentments you just can't let go. If it's clogging your nose, what it means is you have resentments that are causing you to age. It is squeezing out the life force energy that comes into your body. Now listen, let's take a look at what's going on with this planet. Are toilet waters running out the wrong way? This is very upsetting. Okay, let's take a look. Well, I was told to go to England and do lectures. Somebody booked me as a crop circle expert. So I turned up at this lecture. Here she is, the crop circle expert. I'm down in Wiltshire, where the crop circle experts hang out. I said, God, I haven't even looked at the crop circles. What am I supposed to do? Because you see, I know only one thing. I don't look left, I don't look right. I know one thing, that to fulfill what I have come to this planet to do, I have only one responsibility each moment. Every day, all you know is that the spirit, the river of life, the energy of the universe will move through that day. The only responsibility you have is to align yourself with it. That's all you can control, is your attitudes. And it is attitude that either makes you adhere to the law of gravity and death, or the law of levitation and life, and hence ascension. Now, I said, okay, I need some assistance here, and the information started coming through me. And I started to speak in language of electronics, in language of genetics, and things that I don't know about. But what the crop circles were saying is that genetically, electrically, magnetically, and as far as the polarity of the earth, and in terms of the frequency of the earth. Scientists have recently heard her little song. Each of you have a song that you sing with your life. It's a vibration, it's a tone. Her tone is going up. 4 civilizations have ascended off this planet before. It's the 4 worlds that the Hopis speak of. You are the 5th, but this time it's brand new. The earth is ascending as well. This time it's a party. She's ascending and so are you. The first time that has happened. And so, for the moment, just assume, because I will fully explain the terms resurrection, ascension, quickening, all these things in my workshop. For the moment, just assume that when I speak of ascension, I'm speaking of a raising in frequency. All is frequency. I think our very first speaker Friday morning said that. All is frequency. Her frequency is going up. You are genetically mutating the species. You are hooking up DNA strands. You're becoming less controllable. They are becoming more desperate. So, the message is that our electromagnetic fields are deteriorating, the rotation of our world is slowing down, and I have bad news for those of you that think it's bad news. The sun will come up from the west. It's done this before, because the rotation of the earth is slowing down. In Denver here, in Boulder, Colorado, they have to reset atomic time every day, or we will have noon in the evening. Or vice versa, you scientists know best. But that is what they're doing. So the Earth's rotation is slowing down, which has to do with the electromagnetic fields. And our magnetics are deteriorating. What that means is that we have access to change, we have direct access to our own information, You shall that no man teach you, but the God that is within. That is what the message was to me when I always said, God, can I have a teacher for this, teacher for that? Direct. You have direct access to the Akashic records, which contains all information. Direct access. And old systems are falling away. New changes are coming. I am told by some of our space brothers that we are in a state of evolution that is so rare that all of creation have focused their attention on us. We are the equivalent of our raise in consciousness of a baby to a man of 20 in 6 months. The Earth has become like a light ship. The entire solar system is exponentially increasing in speed. We can't see this. Okay, we don't understand this because this whole section of space is doing it. But everything is we're like on a light ship, which is a time ship, which is why time is so screwy. I mean, you can't remember what you did last week because that was 1 year ago. Brent and I have created 0 electromagnetic field in our home through sacred geometry of the building and the events that have occurred there. You come and live with us. Every thought you think manifests in front of your face immediately, because this is part of the lower electromagnetic fields you're experiencing, is your thoughts are going to manifest. It's more potent. Be aware. There's not this gap between your thought and manifestation anymore. For us, it's immediate. And sometimes we enter cyclical time because of 0 electromagnetic field in my one room in my home where I do my healings. And you know, the experience of that is that things keep happening over and over, and this unreal feeling about it. It's in preparation of living in the eternal now. When you live in the now, you're living in power. So the Earth is changing. Our electromagnetic fields are changing, which will reverse the toilet water, yes. The north will become the south. And the east will be the place where the sun sets. It has happened before. There are many temples where the signs of the zodiac are in the wrong precession because the Earth was rotating the opposite way. This is part of what has been prophesied. The Essenes spoke about this time. And all of you are living initiates, getting ready for this raise in frequency. Your relationships are placed in your way as your temples of initiation. If there's a piece of you that needs to be cleared, that relationship comes to you. And they will jerk your strings. They will show you either that which you are, or that which you've given away, or that which you judge, but those are the people you're going to pull into your life until such time that you cease to perpetuate this fallacy that there's good and evil. Either the absolute is, or it isn't. If God is omnipresent, if the energy of God is within the nucleus of every atom, which it is, because an atom is a ray of light rolled upon itself, then where is he not? If you say that your brother is evil, you are robbing him of his essence, his godhood. We can no longer sustain this complete contradiction. There are those of undeveloped light that are dreaming a little dream that they are not light. But God is all there is. Love and light is all there is. Now, my son actually had a visitation of Lucifer. I knew something was very wrong. The whole house went cold. And he said, we're one. He sent him great compassion and great love. And the more compassion and the more love, and the more he explained to him that we were one. That we are going home. That, you know, the darkest of the dark is part of who we are. For we are all things. And it is just a little part of ourselves that for a moment have forgotten that they are truly God. Now, when you become in an ascended state, you can at will travel between dimensions. And you are able to go to where the ascended masters of this planet are, and there are between 8,000 and 9,000 of them, and they have moved. They used to be in the upper 6th dimension. They have now moved because the Earth has moved. The Earth is no longer in the 3rd dimension. The Earth is where our astral plane used to be, which is where we would go when we dreamt. The Earth is now there, which is why life has such a dreamlike quality to it, like, whoa, this is a bad dream, or this is a good dream, whichever way you look at life. Here, for me, bring it on. I have never seen anything so exciting as this life. Never. So, the ascended masters have moved. When the Earth moved up into the lower 4th dimension, it moved into the lower 7th dimension. They are those that have overcome, while in the flesh, of all denominations here upon the earth. And I will tell you that they possibly might have used a denomination, but no denomination could hold them. You see, religions all lead up the mountain. But there comes a place far up the mountain when you can no longer be controlled even by religion, where you walk the path of internal wisdom and pure spirit. You leave the rituals and the trappings of man behind, and you walk the path of pure spirit and pure power. I will explain to you tomorrow the gates I went through as I walked through the portion of the ascension process that I have completed. And one of them was power, and I said, God, why do I need to go through the gate of power? And each gate had a prerequisite. When I went through the gate of love, I had to be able to see that there is only innocence. Because to see that there is only innocence, to see beyond the appearances, is to see with the eyes of God, to cease to judge. For you know, there's one expressing as the many. To go through the gate of wisdom, which was next, I had to cease to oppose things that came to me. Remember I said to you that if I say something that you don't agree with, if you immediately go into turmoil, if you oppose it, instead of just letting it roll, it puts you in the next minute. You're not in power when you're in the next minute or in the past minute. When you live with focus to the now, you link up with your intent. Oh, do you know what you can do when you link up with intent, fearlessly, free from having to try and be anything? You cease to strive. With your intent, you become the word. You say, be thou healed, and it is so. You can do that by living in the now. You become still so that you can hear what you're supposed to say, what you're supposed to do. The stillness and the humility in knowing that the biggest impediment to progress are your beliefs. If you believe, this is the truth, this is how God is, this is God's nature, you can't go to the next rung. Because truth alters as your perception alters. Each rung. You see, the Lucifer Rebellion, and I have 5 minutes, so I will just tell you why these folks are the way they are. Why these beings and these greys have no capability to have the currency you have, which is love. The Lucifer Rebellion, there are 12 main universes. According to my highest truth, I am flexible. I'm open every moment to access more information. The highest understanding I have is that there are 12 main universes with 12 dimensions in each. Or you can say there are 12 dimensions with 12 overtones. But a lot of autistic children, for instance, come from a parallel universe. And, okay, I am hearing so much information, I must cut it off at the pass. I want to finish my point. This encompasses all of known creation today. There is, beyond that is what is called the void. I have traveled there. In the void, there's nothing. There used to be nothing. There is something now. What is there now is an embryo of the earth. And a lot of the species that we have lost, you know, we keep approaching the earth with guilt, She hates it. I mean, how can you have a relationship with somebody when every time they look at you in guilt? She wants your love, not your guilt. Some of the species that have died off are because we are so accelerated. And they have moved into this new embryo, waiting for the Earth to be born. In his advanced Merkaba class, my son teaches, and will be next weekend in Denver, he teaches how to go through that tunnel. Go and look at it. You can go look at it for yourself. There's nothing I'm talking about that I will not tell you how to do. Well, there is a new universe being born. I have spoken to angelic beings. They say we don't know what is going on. It's beyond our experience. Either we're going home to source, or it's like the in-breath of God, or we're going up to a next level, all of creation. Well, there's one problem. I went in there one time, and they sent me back out because there are 13 lords there. They sent me out. They say, you cannot come in, you don't have unconditional love. What? Of course I do. No, you're not feeling it. Out. I went through this tunnel, and if any of you have seen Contact, the movie, see it. They show you the central sun of your universe, and they show you the tunnel I'm speaking of. When I had to go out through the tunnel, the shape is a little different. It's actually in the form of the flower of lives, and they have the shape a little bit, but it's essentially what I'm talking about. I came out, and guess who I met there? Somebody I had paid very little attention to, had no knowledge of, Mother Teresa. And she came to assist me by showing me what she felt as she held these lepers that stank minutes before they died, just held them and loved them. Because the few minutes of unconditional love she gave them changed their entire existence. I took that feeling with me. We cannot enter there unless we feel. Lucifer wanted to rise above the 12 universes, and he learned to create externally. I have very bad news for you. Your government can do the same. Okay, they create through mind and electricity. They can create a can of beer on that table. Lucifer created that way. Guess what happens when you create that way? You lose your right spinning Merkaba. It dies. Because we were meant to create through the heart. Now, not only do you lose your own Merkaba, but what you create beings without a right spinning Merkaba. They're created through the Lucifer Rebellion. And when that happens, planets die. In our galaxy alone, I am told that 80,000 planets are dying because of the Lucifer Rebellion. I know that seems like little because of the many that there are, but they're dying all over the universes. Those beings have no capability of feeling. You do. You are the wealthy ones. And what do you do with that wealth? You hoard it like misers. You know, in our workshop next week, which is the second level, we will be speaking about the internal shield that needs to be imbalanced. See, they know that if they unbalance your internal sub-personalities, which form what is called a medicine shield, it's the image that I give, that you're out of balance and you're out of joy. Joy is the reward for balance. You have sub-personalities that need to be nurtured and kept alive and expressed. And they have deliberately severed you from those. In the South, you have your nurturer. You need to have an active nurturer, nurturing yourself within each of you. But what they did is they said, your bodies are unworthy vehicles. You're guilty. You're born in sin. You're this, you're that, you're the other, okay? So why would you want to nurture something that unwholesome? Your bodies is where the divine becomes manifest. The nurturer needs to be reconnected. You nurture yourself. In the West is your inner child. But, they say, this world's a tough place. No place for games. The sooner you learn to be tough and survive, the better. So there's no place for vulnerability. This is a safe universe. To fear your brother, you would have to fear yourself. And as you walk fearlessly, I promise you, all of heaven and earth moves to accommodate your safety. My time is up. Can I take 1 minute? I want to just finish the shield. So you don't express your child and you don't play. In the north, you have your adult. You need to have a relationship with your adult. But you are placed in bondage through your debt. When you are in debt, you are in bondage. And so, you work 3 jobs all of the time, and you have no ability to have a relationship with yourself. And you're in codependence, so you don't even know what you want. If you say, what do I like so I can do it this day, most of you don't know. Because all your attention is outside of the self, and you sever that relationship with yourself. In the East is the subpersonality of the sage. There is an all-knowing part of you. It's the God mind. It's lodged in the cells. And you are told that your God is without. There are God beings without, but that's neither here nor there. Your God, the passage to Godhood, is within. You're told that it's without. Now you are effectively severed from all 4 the sub-personalities that bring balance in your life so that you can have joy. And when you are expressing joy, you are uncontrollable. Thank you so much for your attention and your love. Thank you.